you move to that next situation to be fixed. And in this case, we're saying that, listen, you're killing us. It's bad enough that we have poverty in our communities, that we're killing each other, but it's even worse when the people that were told, they're sworn to protect us, is also killing us. Right. And so we want to get that root out of our equation.
Yeah. And I say this. I was talking to a group of young people and a couple of my friends, because I'm a PhD student right now, and my work, I'm doing research in multicultural and equity studies. Here's my thing. White people in America historically have been the most violent people in America. Historically, have been. And we talk about looting, right? You want to talk about looting. They took a country that didn't even belong to them, right? That's right. Violently. Right? They brought in people violently to build a country, to build their wealth. You want to talk about looting? You took people's land, you took people's language, you took people's families, and you did so violently to build your wealth. So here's my take on looting. If they want to burn it down, burn it down. I'm over here, and I feel the brother Miguel, you talked about, this is a part of it. When you talk about the women's rights movement, there was riots in the women's rights movement. You know, you talk about the LGBTQ movement, there were riots in these movements, but they only want to talk about, you know, they want to paint us as thugs in the Black movement when we're protesting in their rights, because that is a part of the process. But it's coming from people who are historically the most violent people in America. How y'all?
That's where I was actually going when Kim Ham, the go-to girl, was talking, when she mentioned Black on Black crime and or blacks killing blacks. You know what I mean? I said, you know what? Here's the difference, and I've always said this: we Black people killed a person who did something to them. Whoever angered them. You made me angry, and I'm going to direct my anger at you. I'm going to go into, let's just use the bar scene, okay? Or, you know, public places. We have Black people who they're looking for, and that's who they are shooting at. Whereas white people, they taking out everybody, and that didn't have anything to do with it. And it's like, I'm going to hurt everybody because these people did this to me in Kansas. You know, it's like, come on. So who are the real criminals? And like on some of the media that I did catch, they caught a good one. And this was in Minnesota, where all the people that were like, they had chairs and stuff, and they were throwing it. They kept running it. They kept looping it. They were white, little white kids. I said, now all they have to do is zoom in, because they didn't have masks, and see whose child this is. However, we know if there's an issue, if you took part in that funeral memorial that happened close to me, they zoomed in to tell them, we're quarantined, you can't be allowed out. They zoomed in to get those people in trouble. So to get those people in trouble, it's like, okay, here's your ticket, you got to pay for this. You know what I mean? Here's the repercussions. And then you have them looting. You're not zooming in and saying, this is so-and-so's child. Who is this? Help us figure out who this is. You already know. But I was having that conversation with the live studio audience. So if you want to listen to the actual radio show, I got the podcast too, so you guys can hear that. That is Spreaker.com, Shop Talk with Mel, to hear the entire show, to hear all of the guests that were on. My live studio audience, Nick, she's the voice of the community. Kim Ham, the go-to girl, if you listen to Shop Talk with Mel, she's one of my co-hosts that comes on. And then I had the attorney from Pittsburgh, the civil rights attorney. So if you need his information, you can contact me. He gave it to you. You can listen to the show and hear what he has to say. I have Troy, the analysis guy. I was like, I know Troy. Let's tell the IT guy what's going on. And then we have Miguel, and all the things that you do in the community. What would you classify yourself as? If you could.
I'm a youth leader.
Youth leader?
I'm a youth leader. Yeah, I'm a youth leader. But I want to piggyback on something you said.
Wait, let me finish introducing her, and then I have Joselyn. I have Joselyn, who is the CEO and founder of the Speak Project, and you can contact her as well. I'll have all you guys information on shoptalkwithmel.com, on all the social sites, so they can reach out and whatever you need. I got it all here for you. I got the life coach, like I said, Kim Ham, the go-to girl. Whatever you need, it'll be on all socials. all the guests that I had today along with their information. So reach out where you are, and everybody on here is a mentor. There's people that don't know how to get a mentor. That was somebody I was talking to. And I said, well, he needed direction. He said, well, I don't know how to choose a mentor. Let me explain something. The way that you get a mentor, I had a mentor. When I was younger, we lived in the projects. A lot of people didn't know that. And I'm gonna tell you right now, and I lived in Westlake, so you could Google that, okay? For many years, the people that's rooting for me and has rooted for me, they were like, I knew, and a man told me, he said, I knew you were gonna be something. I was at the doggone gas station, and he said that, and I was just truly shocked. And he told me, he said he watched me as a child. I was touched by that. I said, wow. It was like, you were always, because I'm an only child too. And he was like, you be by yourself, you do your stuff. And if somebody else wanted to do something and you weren't doing it, you know, I'm not interested. But then my mother was very particular as well. And she watched, and she had people come to the house so that she could monitor things. And it's all about the way you wrote it. You can't blame your past for what you're doing in your future. You rewrite that story. Is this something that I want to do? And back to being a mentor, and I told that young man, I said, here's the thing, or finding a mentor. Here's the issue with finding a mentor is usually when we find them, we choose them ourselves. We see, you know, if you want to be married, you see Miss Jones up the street or whatever, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, you know what I mean? You're like, oh, when I'm married, I want to be like that. You look, everybody is a role model, but the mentors, they don't even have to talk to you. What are you doing? So to the young people, let them know you don't have to be linked with somebody like we used to have with the big sister, with a big brother. It was big brother because sister came later. But the big brother is like, okay, this is somebody to reach out and see what you're doing, how you're doing, and they don't just leave you. But you could just look. And like I said, the mentors now, since everybody at home and doing them, being by themselves, being private, and then our young people, I call them little people too, because I'm a school nurse as well. They do them, and they're like, okay, we on TikTok, we on this, and those are becoming their mentors. So I applaud you, Joselyn, Troy, everybody. When you, Kim, Nick, when you walk out the door, whether you want to be a role model or not, you are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, you are. So if somebody asks you, you know, like, how do I get a mentor? And then you don't have to call somebody who's like, oh, I did call them and set you up with a mentor, but I don't have any mentors out there for you. Yeah. Man, please. Anytime you walk out the door, you're a mentor. Go ahead, Miguel.
Yeah, so I want to go back to what you said earlier, but you made a lot of great points there as well. This is not the time for our people to be passive and docile. Those times are over with. It's over with.
Clearly.
Martin Luther King, God rest his soul, great brother, man, great leader. He the reason we gained some of the freedoms that we have today. But he even said, he quoted, I'm afraid I may have led my people into a burning building. When integration came in and we wanted to use the same bathrooms, to eat at the same dining room tables and stuff like that, they didn't want that. So what happens is they created laws to do so. Those laws are the only things that's really they quote unquote adhering to even give us any type of inclusiveness. They don't want to be with us, but that's a whole nother story in itself. But today, it's not a time for us to be docile. It's not a time for us to be passive. Listen, a bully don't understand nothing but a fist upside his damn head. You can't be throwing up a peace sign to somebody who don't want peace. If we keep on doing the same thing, marching, just talking about peace this and peace this, we got to stand and we really got to have some demand.
Where'd you go?
Oh, there. Okay. Where are you going, Biden? We talking about somebody now. And we people like, well, you got to pick between the two lesser of the evils. You got to pick between two lesser of the evils. I don't want to hear that. I want to know, what are you going to do for black people in America, Joe Biden? That's what I want to know. I don't want to know. Yeah, we know. We tired of Trump. I'm tired of him. I'm tired of hearing his voice. You know what I'm saying? But my thing is, what are you going to do different, Biden? We just can't be running off of emotions here. and just say we put him in because we tired of this man. What are you going to do? So we got a lot of work to do on the forefront, and it starts right with us, and then it moves up all the way to the White House, because that's where the change is going to come from. Congressmen, the White House, the ones that write the laws, the ones that produce the laws. It starts right there. But we as a people, we got to keep standing and stop being passive and docile and say, damn it, the time is over. We tired of getting killed. We tired of getting shot. We tired of getting racially profiled. We tired of getting pulled over, slammed up against the wall, patted down for no reason. Man, I'm tired. When my daughter's 19, when she leave out the house, I'll be scared for her. And and it's a shame I have to tell her, when the police pull you over, this is how you should act. It shouldn't be no damn script of when you get pulled over how to talk to the damn police. We should have to. That shouldn't be. That shouldn't even have to be. It's like going to school and they tell you, in order for you to pass this test, you have to do X, Y, Z. So I got to tell my people, in order for you to pass the test, when the police pull you over, you got to do X, Y, Z. No, man, it shouldn't be. The police should show the same respect that they want that they want to be received, that they want received, and they don't do it. So I'll tell you what. Listen, keep the cameras rolling. Keep it streaming online. You know what I'm saying? When they pull you over, start putting it out there. It took them. My brother that was jogging and who got killed. It took them over a month for that to even come to the light. So just imagine suppose Ahmaud Arbery, suppose that wasn't never turned over. We would have never heard about that. So I say, man, today is not the time to be passive and docile. And let me be clear. I'm not about violence. But my thing is, man, sometimes you need violence. I'm sorry. Sometimes you need it. Everybody got to play their role somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Check this out. When they came and they had those guns, talking about open up the country, man, listen, they was ready for whatever. And we got to be the same way. But when we do it, we thugs. We aggressive. We this and we that. No, we got to change all that and say, man, I don't care what y'all say. This is what we doing and this is what we demanding.
All right. Go ahead, Troy.
Let me add to that too, because I believe in most of my teachings and me being an activist, I believe in a lot of what Martin Luther King Jr. believed in, a ton. And I believe in a lot of what Malcolm X believed in as well in his latter part of his life. And one of the biggest things when you being an activist, and what people fail to realize, and they don't really talk about this because this is the unseen part, there's 4 steps that Martin Luther King believed in having a nonviolent protest for change. And the first fact has always been for him is the collection of facts, right? The collection of the facts of where the injustices live. And activists like myself, activists like Cassandra McDonald and so forth, we've collected that data. We've visited, we've asked for those records from police like Euclid and Cleveland. Hey, let us see these records of how many complaints these officers have. How many of these complaints were violent offenses and so forth. And let's talk about that, right? So the next step was, after we collected this data and we had concrete data that there's 1 or 2 or 3 bad apples in your police station that's making the other cops look bad, our next approach was, okay, let's come to the table with negotiation, which is Martin Luther King's second point of a nonviolent protest. Let's negotiate. Let us meet with the police chief. Let us meet with the mayor of that city. Let us meet with the clergyman. Let us meet with potentially congressmen. And we want to talk about this problem and try to come to some sort of agreement and resolution to the problems that's plaguing us, right? After on the cameras, these mayors are like, oh, we want to work this out. We want to fix it. But when those cameras off, they totally shun us. They don't accept their meetings. Their calendar is booked. They don't want to talk to us. They don't want to see us unless the cameras is rolling, right? So when that second point of negotiation fails, then you're at your third step, right? And the third step is now you're mad. You're mad because people are still dying, and you're sitting on your couches and you're watching us protest peacefully. Kneel, come to you, ask for your help, and you're not listening. So the next thing is, the third step is, I have to now take this anchor that I have, and I gotta wash it away, right? Because I can't no longer deal with you angry, because then I can't get my point across, because I'm so frustrated, I'm so angry. I have to be able to think, and I have to be able to rationalize the things that you're saying, and I have to be able to come back with a positive answer, right? Now, after that point, now after you've done all these things, wrote your congressman, wrote your mayor, talked to the chief of police, and they said, no, we're not going to talk to you, or we don't got the time. Now you're at the fourth point that Martin Luther King mentioned, and it was direct action. And direct action to Martin Luther King was some sort of, and this is where I go into Malcolm X, but Martin Luther King said there's some sort of civil disobedience that has to occur to seemingly achieve the almost impossible that you've been trying to get. And that civil obedience is usually comes when you're oppressed in the form of rioting and looting. And if we would have not done this in this situation with Floyd, and we would have done what Kaepernick has been doing, we would have probably be seeing another killing today. You know what I mean? But because we did that rioting, and because the world is rioting, not just Minnesota, the world is now rioting. The world is killing things, right? Now the FBI is opening up they're being, they're not being invisible. They're coming to the forefront that, yeah, we're investigating this. Everybody now got a stake in a hand. They want to fix this. You want to know why? Because people are direct actioning toward something that they've been seeing time and time again that has not been handled. And I feel for the people that's in our community that, like our Black businesses. I do. I feel for them. But but there's also a lot of white businesses that take our money every day. The AutoZones, the Targets that are in our communities, they take our money every day, and we patronize them every day. The Asians, the salons, we patronize them every day, and they see us getting killed.
They're not saying that.
You know what I mean? They see us getting killed, and they're not saying, hey, because they got a big influence to the mayor and to the chief of police. They can easily go in there and say, you know what? When you kill this Black man, you also kill my customer. When you kill this sister, you kill my customer. And if you guys can't fix this, and you can't stop killing the people that patronize my store, then maybe I should get out of your community. They have the obligation, just like we got an obligation to protest. But instead, the AutoZone owners, the Target owners sit on their couch and watch us get killed every day, but still take the money from.
Well said.
Awesome.
Well said.
Now I'm going to ask this question to the panel. Let me introduce the panel again throughout the show for the listening audience. I'm doing it all at one time. We have Troy Harris, we have Joselyn Parker, we have Miguel Booker, we have Nicole Keller Grace, we also have Kim Hamilton, and we just coming in the room is, hey, you know the panel is bald, is lit, is police officer Malik Mostella, who has 20 years in the game, okay? And he can join in. This next question I'm gonna ask each and every one of you so you guys can think about it and try to keep it to like a minute or so, because the time is running out, all right? When you saw the image, even though there are so many of our Black brothers and sisters, I'm going to say sisters plural because we knew, what was it, Cassandra? I say her name wrong. Jocelyn, you remember the one that went to jail? And she said,
Sandra Bland. Sandra Bland.
Oh, and here I'm like, is it Cassandra? I'm second guessing because of Cassandra McDonald, the president of the NAACP. That's why I was like, Cassandra? So with that, here's my question. Are we ready? This is what I need. We're going to focus on the most current. When you saw the image of, and I'm going to start with you, Troy. When you saw the image of George Floyd, what did you see?
What did I see?
Everybody else mute your line, and then I'll go to you.
When I saw the image of George Floyd, I saw me. I saw me there. I saw my son there.
Okay. That's what you, okay. Miguel Booker, same question. Go ahead, mute yours, Troy.
Well, what I've seen white supremacy at its finest. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead, mute yours. Nicole? You gotta unmute, there you go.
I saw just blatant racism.
Okay. Joselyn?
Yeah, I agree. I saw systemic racism and white supremacy. And
Hamilton?
I saw what tail are they going to spin to try to get this man out of this. That's what I saw.
Okay. And Malik, Officer Malik.
Hello. I saw just anger, personal, just anger for myself, just knowing what was coming in behind all of it.
Okay. Now I'm going to tell you what I saw. Y'all can all unmute it. Okay. Y'all can all unmute. And this is what I saw. And I'm in the art. Okay. I'm actually in the art. So I'm going to give you a visual and I'm going to give the listening audience what I actually saw. I saw his hands in his pocket with his knee on his neck. Okay. Follow me. That's what we visually, that's what we saw. When we put our hands in our pocket, that's a pose. And I said, it was a still image because I saw the picture and I said, is that his trophy? Now, here's the thing. He used his knee. So in shop talk true fashion, I keeps it real. I said, did he just say, F all y'all and Colin Kaepernick kneeling? Because he was kneeling. Now I'm kneeling on a nigga. And that's the way I saw it. I was like, F y'all and your protests. Watch me kneel on another nigga. That's what I said. And that's what I saw. Sorry if I offended some of y'all, but I'm gonna just tell y'all that's what in my mind, that's what I thought that he was thinking. And I said, he kneeled, and he kneeled on a black man. Mm-hmm. He kneeled on a black man with his hands in his pocket. So when your hands are in your pocket, there's no threat. Let's think about that, because anytime that we get in a stance to fight, our hands is not in our pocket.
Right.
You know, if you feel as though it's a threat, come on. And I said, so does he take that back? This is my thoughts. Is he taking that back to the meeting and say, hey, look what I got. You got the image? It was, they said almost 9 minutes, 8 minutes and 53 seconds. Mm-hmm. Make sure y'all get a good picture of this. So I'm with you too. How you gonna spin this to get out of it? Because clearly you were going to. And with President Trump not saying anything about it at all, it wasn't affecting him. It wasn't affecting his people. Then you look at it like, oh, okay, and when we were tearing up our own neighborhoods, it still wasn't affecting him. It still wasn't affecting his people. They done burnt down the doggone police station. The government. We got a problem when they loot you. Because now it's messing with your money. Like you said, it's just really, really interesting. But that's the image that I saw. And I said, now Colin Kaepernick tried to do it right. Y'all all had a problem with it. It was peaceful. Here he kneeled. And when you kneel, that is the greatest form of respect. Okay. They tried to spin it. So now, so me knowing that and looking at that picture with him kneeling on his neck to kill him, to cut off his blood flow and his airflow, and right on that carotid artery, and it's a bony prominence. You made a huge statement. So were you like the guy where they're gonna check you? Was that gonna be the image? Because, and this is why I said it's an image, because when you brought up the young man jogging, Ahmaud Arbery, the only reason that it got out is because of the video. The video was from their boy. Because guess what? We need proof that you did it. Here's another picture. That's why I'm looking like, wait a minute, y'all got a meeting, y'all taking this all too? Because I'm gonna look into it like, wait a second.
Yeah.
But when I saw him put his hands, he had his hands in his pocket for 8 minutes and 53 seconds. That was his trophy. And they needed a still image, take a picture, here you go. And it was so disrespectful because they didn't, pretty much barred outcast Colin Kaepernick when he tried to kneel on the sideline too. That's disrespect for our country. Make America great again. And you remember where that actually stemmed from, but the show ain't long enough, okay? Where that actually okay. And I said, with everything that's going on and us standing up, I said, oh, we're making America great again. Look at that. We have okay. Now we got that image. You talked about that with Officer Malik. When you said you saw it, it upset you. Now, earlier in the show, Troy shared his story where he was talking to one officer that was okay. And then the other guy put him in the chokehold. Then you have this situation where George is there and you have 3 other officers that are there. I feel as though they just wanted to charge the, I'm not even saying his name, he can't get that on my platform, but they just only charged him with murder. Charge all of them with murder. Tell me, how did that work?
It should have been all 4 of them, but they're still not done yet. They went and got him because he's the main one, but they're not done yet.
Do you think they got him just to try to quiet us down? Because we are a forgiving people.
I think they got him because they had to get him right there and right there with something, because they had to. But seeing that they're going to have federal charges coming as well, it'll be all 4 of them. It won't be just him.
And I felt that it was personal. And then as I was reading more articles, so this is alleged to cover me, and you can look at some of the other outlets, they actually share it. Did you see where him, the victim and the killer actually worked together at a nightclub?
Yeah, I saw that for what 17 years or something?
Yes.
So like that. So he knew him.
He knew him. And
so that just goes to tell you that he was probably just waiting to be able to get his hands on him.
Exactly.
That's because let's be real. Let's be real. You think about the club, you going out, you kicking it, and you got the 2 bouncers. You got your 2 or 3 or whatever, but you got a bouncer. Then you got a sucker bouncer. You know what I mean? Want to be super cop. And that's how we be like, this cat want to be super cop. But then you have that one bouncer to be like, oh, I know him, they're okay. Kind of like what happened to you, Troy, that the officer that came up, she knew you. So I'm like, oh, they all right. And then so you have one officer that is a good officer that's like, just relax. Let's diffuse the situation. Talk down before take down. Right? I'm doing all right, huh?
So far, so good. Yeah.
So you have one that's like, no, let's just relax a little bit. And then you got that hothead. So that's probably what it was at the club. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get you back. You know what I mean? We weren't together. We weren't. I told you it's a fraternal order of police, fraternity. They all stick together because that's what the people think, right, Nick? That all police officers stick together except Malik.
Not all of them.
No, I'm joking.
Not all of them.
Malik was right. But Officer Malik, tell us, help us understand.
What is it that you need me to help you?
Help us understand when you have 2 police officers and then you have a good officer that's like, no, talking, and then one want to come, you got your high head, and then he comes and use force. I know you weren't on earlier. Troy shared his personal story where he was talking to the officer, explaining what was going on, and another officer came behind him and put him in a chokehold and cracked his vertebrae.
Yeah, there's always one, no matter where you at. Think about it. Even in your own crew, there's always one that that's gonna fight first. There's always that one you got to watch. So it's no different.
One of the disciples was like that too. Peter!
Yeah.
Peter at the table.
Go ahead. Leave his ear alone.
Right, you be like,
It's no different. I mean, a lot of people, it's no different just because you got that uniform on. There's always going to be that one that you have to watch. No matter what, you know who will fight and who won't. You know who'll start the fight and who won't. You just have to look at the situation and keep in mind that, how can I put this? You have to look at the situation and know, like, okay, we got it. You need to stay to the side on this one. And normally that's what happens. Just leave it alone. We got it. And that might change. Each role changes depending on what type of mood each person is in that day. And that's our job, in all honesty. You know when to tell one of your partners to leave it alone. I got it. You know when to say that to one of your partners.
Okay, so everybody need to be charged.
Yeah. All 4 of them most definitely should be charged. You don't stand there and allow that to happen. You don't participate. You don't train for the neck. You don't. The only time that the neck should ever be involved in a use of force situation is if somebody's about to get killed, not to do the killing.
Okay, I did. I saw some footage where it actually said, and it was a guy. He said, "Don't record me You know, if I can't breathe, don't record, you know, me saying that I can't
do
breathe.
something
Come
to
and
the
help.
police officer.
He said, no, he said, come help him.
Well,
Who doing that? I ain't down for you. I mean, I ain't trying to be funny, but I'm like, I ain't in the military.
The only way you can help him is to get
Because
the
he would get
cop
shot,
off of him, right?
But so he would get shot, right?
More than likely, shot or tased, or beat up. One of the three.
Okay.
And you know what? And it's unfortunate. And it's unfortunate that that's the case. But by any means
I want to read your
necessary.
shirt, Miguel.
Listen,
I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I had this on. I was at the protest in Baltimore with Eric Gardner, and so I've been wearing this for a couple of years now. So as you see, ain't nothing changing in America. We still can't breathe. But what I'm gonna say to Officer Malik is he's absolutely right, because I got a lot of friends that's police officers. Thanks, we are. That's police officers, and they tell me the same thing. It's always that one police officer that's going to come on the scene and want to flex his authority. You're always going to have that. But just what I would say, when we see this happening, like when that brother when he was recording, and he was like, "Man, he's dying. Man, get up off his neck, take his pulse." I'm sorry to say it, but by any means necessary, I couldn't. I'm just me personally. I couldn't have sat back and watched that man lose his life like that without intervening. They would, and I mean this, they would have had to shoot me. They would have had to tase me. But that's just me. So my thing is, if brothers start standing up and sisters start standing up and have that attitude, like when these police come on the scene, they jumping on our people, you have to kill me.
I think that if it was, because we outnumber the police, if everybody had the mindset,
because think of this, the trauma that those people who witnessed that have to suffer for the rest of their life. That's trauma. Ain't nobody talking about that. That's trauma. They witnessed this man die at the hands of a police officer, and they man right now, what they saying to each other is, I should have did something.
Okay, Jocelyn,
go
I
ahead.
want you to weigh in on that, and if you have a question for Officer Malik, go with.
Officer Malik is my guy. He one of the good guys.
We appreciate you too. We appreciate you.
Absolutely. You know, we need somebody kind of standing in the gap for us that's in a position that can do that. I talk often about, I understand the thought process of people who are standing there who don't take action. And Brother Miguel, I love the fight in you, but you might have been shot up, bro, because that's what happens to us. You know what I'm saying? Like if all of those people wouldn't tackle that officer or tried to help him, another person would have been killed. Perhaps they might not have killed George Floyd, but then they would have said, well, we weren't going to kill him. Then they could spin it on that. Then it's an assault for a riot of Black people assaulted officers. We were just detaining a thug. We were just detaining. The spin factor that would happen, Brother Miguel might have been killed or in jail. Something would have happened to him because you intervened when police. And I was listening to a radio show. They said, we can't win with them in the street. You're not going to win that fight. You're not going to win it. Get home and try to fight. Get home alive and try to fight. But in the street with the police, we're not winning that. We're not going to win that. And if we try to attack police officers, that's not going to happen. Somebody's going to be killed, and they're going to dig up every bad thing that you had. The media going to spin it, and we're going to be protesting and rioting again because you done got killed trying to stand up for somebody that was, being aggressively or physically detained. So it don't work for us like that.
Go ahead, Troy.
Yeah. So the scary part of that whole situation is, for me, I know what Malcolm is saying, but for me, it's like this here. When you see something like that, right, the video is important, and you have to assess the whole situation. If there's people videoing it, then you don't need to be videoing. You don't need to be videoing it, right? Because there's already video being done. You have to make or try to figure out, how can I make that officer so uncomfortable that he has to get up? You know what I mean? If he feels threatened that I might be bum rushing or rushing, he may think about not putting his hands in his pocket and keeping that knee on this man's throat for 9 minutes. but I have to bring some type of tyranny, some type of fear in him to make him stop doing what he's doing. But at the same token, and this is the hard part, and this is what I think is preventing this from happening. If a black man or a black woman, and I think now that this situation occurred, I think that black women, black men, we should always carry mace. We should always carry mace. And oops, I'm sorry, I pulled this mace out. I'm sorry, I sprayed you. I didn't know. I'm sorry. But here's the thing, when we take up for our own, then we become victims too. Because those police would have put so many charges on that person that tried to help that man that he would have probably had 15 charges he was facing and would have had to plead down to 4 charges, where that white cop only got 2 charges on him. And that's a problem. That's an issue. Because at that point, it would have been, to me, a citizen's arrest on the police. But it wouldn't be looked that way in the court of law. Okay,
Malik, you want to weigh in on that?
Yeah. Hold on 1 second.
Okay. Nick, go ahead.
Okay, I'm good. I'm back.
Are you good? Go ahead, Malik.
Here, I'm listening to what everybody's saying, and
from a police officer's standpoint, let us know what you can do and what you can't do.
Well, bottom line, it's the police officer's responsibility to do what he's been trained to do and the oath that he took. Your job is to protect. We're peace officers first. We keep the peace. And then if the peace can't be kept, we enforce the law. There is a difference. And it's hard for me to put it in the words because of all of the nonsense that we're dealing with right now. If you go reaching in your pockets, and I'm already dealing with a volatile situation, if you go to reach for something, I'm either going to tase you or my gun's coming out because I don't know what you're reaching for. But if I'm doing my job the correct way, I'm not going to be anywhere near that man's throat in the first place. I'm not. And I've fought with plenty of people. I've been on the ground rolling around with plenty of people. And if it's 4 of you already
I can vouch for that. You made me do extra work when you brought them in. It takes me to go. I'm like, oh. Go ahead.
They need to do a better job of vetting their people. I mean, all of the stuff that when every person who just said, I would do this, I would do that, I would grab my mace, I would do that, you shouldn't have to be in a position to even feel that way. You shouldn't. You should not be in a position where you think you have to get involved in that. If we do our job and we do it right, you don't have to worry about that. But you have people out there who don't belong in that uniform. There are some people out there who don't belong in that uniform. It's that simple. And we have to stand up and deal with those people every day. And I keep seeing the thing where the black officers at? Why aren't they standing up? I'm here to tell you, we stand up every day. We stand up, we go out there, we do the job every day. We deal with the ridicule from our own community, our own people talking bad about us. I've had people whoop their children just for speaking to me. So, but I'm still gonna get out the car and help you when you need help. These are some of the things that we go through as black police officers. And black or white, you've taken an oath to defend and protect people. An average citizen should not be put in a position where they feel they have to protect that person from the police. Because I guarantee you, no matter what, when I get back to work, if somebody tries to run or somebody tries to fight, I'm going to do my job. Some people ain't going to jail the easy way. Or when you get to somebody's house, if there's a domestic situation, you may have to pull somebody off of somebody. It's a physical job. You have to be prepared to do what you need to do. But at the same time, there is a way to do it. Deadly force is only necessary when someone's in a position where they're about to be killed. Again, you got 4 police officers there. You got that guy on the ground. There's no need to do what he did. And whether you know it or not, whether you've seen it or not, white police officers are pissed off about this as much as we are.
Yeah.
And that's what needs to happen. Yeah. And what I see, Nick, here's the question I'm gonna ask you. Let me go ahead. I need you to get a question together to ask, to speak, you know, since you're representing the community, is there a question to give to Malik? And Kim, you're gonna be next. But this is what I see, and I'm not a black male, but a mom, I am a boy mom, okay? It seems as if every time he goes out, I pray any old way, but I gotta pray that he comes back alive. And usually with being a community worker, because a lot of people have a problem with police officers. Well, I pay them, it's my tax dollars that pay the police officer. I'm not paying a police officer to kill me. It was a young man on the front lawn. He sat there, he had his arms straight out. I'm sure you guys really can't see me too much. And he wouldn't get arrested. So the one officer kept hitting his shoulder blade. I understood why he kept hitting him, so he could go ahead and arrest him. And that young man, he looked to be like 19 years old. He yelled out and he said, "You're not going to cuff me and kill me." And it's sad that you have to be that way. And the free, I use that term loosely, the free black male that goes outside just to go to the store, regular store run, is actually having the fear that the police officers should have. And when I say that, you know, every time you go out and you guys clock in, because you put your life at risk every single day, it's like, all I want to do is go home and see my family. Why should the community have that feeling? We should be able, I'm just gonna go to the store. You know, I don't plan on getting killed. But then when you see, as soon as you see those lights going on and going off, you get nervous, anxiety kicks in. And then they want to know why the black man's high blood pressure. Now the statistics is crazy, where they have black males with high blood pressure is high. Yeah, every time I go out the door, my blood pressure increase. And don't let a light, you might be doing everything right. You don't even have to have a light even going. You see a police officer, and I get that anxiety too. And I'm driving like, oh, I hope I ain't got no parking tickets. You know what I mean? But that's the thought that goes through my mind as being a productive citizen in society. Kim, go ahead. You have a question for Malik?
I do have a question, Malik. My question is this. So in this situation where we see one officer doing something that is obviously not protocol, is there any leeway for you as an officer to intervene at that time, or do you do what the other officers did? How would you intervene in a situation like that had you been in a situation like that?
Stopped him.
So, okay, because it's easy for him, but apparently it's not easy for everybody else. Exactly. Because when you're in that situation, you are part of two families. You are part of the family you work with, and you are part of the family you live among. And when you see something like that, it's almost like, do you choose your loyalty, or do you just do what you know is right regardless of the outcome?
No, but it's also the culture of the department. You have to understand that if they're standing there watching, it's not because it's not because they don't want to get involved. It's because for them, that's the norm. Mm-hmm. You have to understand that if that's what you're taught, if that's what you're taught, then what's wrong with it? That's the culture of the department, not the individual officer themselves. When you come in as a rookie, you learn what's acceptable and not acceptable working the street. What's acceptable that comes to you from the street, and what's acceptable as you doing it to somebody else. Because people will try dumb stuff, and you'll see if your partners get involved and be like, cut that shit out, or push them to the side and be like, boy, you need to go stand over there somewhere. And you see people get talked to. And one of the first things that we train on, if it's getting to the point that it's getting personal, somebody else needs to step in. Yeah. If it's physically getting personal, you can tell the difference between somebody doing their job and somebody taking hits just because they're taking hits. There's a huge difference. You can tell. At that point, you step in. We are human. And if your emotions click in, which they're not supposed to, but you're human. If you see somebody's emotions clicking in, you're supposed to step in. You're supposed to step in. I've stepped in on people. I've stepped in on people to stop stuff. And in all honesty, as a younger officer, people have stepped in on me.
Oh yeah, you're a vet in the gang. They're like, officer, that we got a new policy. We got a revised policy. Like,
no, but that's the culture. That's the culture of the department. I can honestly say that where I work, we don't play that with one another, because at the same time, if you get in trouble, I'm getting in trouble too.
Okay.
I was here. So
like
we
to
get
ask
in
a question.
trouble as well, and we know that.
I'd like to ask a question if I can to Brother Malik.
Yes, sir.
And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. If I did, I apologize. First, before I ask my question, I want to say, man, I apologize for the stigma that has been placed on the police department, because they're not all bad police officers, and we need police officers to keep the peace. We need them. Period. Without the police department, man, it'll be mad chaos and chaos. It'll be just off the hook out here. But this is what I wanted to ask you. How does the reporting go as far as reporting stuff like that on different officers internally? Like if you want to step up and go complain about an officer, how does that work? Do you have to? Is there retribution, or is there harassment on the officer that's reporting? How does that work?
It depends on how it's done. Before we make it official, like going to internal affairs or something like that, we go to each other and we talk to each other. We pull each other to the side because we're the ones out here with one another. Mm-hmm. We pull each other to the side. Trust me, we have our own little meetings, and we tell each other I was effed up. You don't act like that out here. You don't do that. We actually do. We police each other. And then if that's not enough, you go to your sergeant or your lieutenant, who pulls them to the side, talks to them. And then if it keeps going like that, the lieutenant takes it to internal affairs, and it becomes an official issue. So yeah, we actually do that. It happens just like I just said. It happens. So there is a way of doing it, and we do use it.
And my second question is the white supremacy side. Have you seen, or do you believe? Because I'm not in there, but so far what I'm seeing, I have come to the belief that there is a white supremacy aspect in these police departments. What would be your take on that?
It depends on what part of the country you're in. For me, like even though I live in Ohio, and this is a Klan state, flat out. Ohio is a huge Klan state, but it also depends on the department that you belong to and how open that it may be. In the southern states, you already know.
Yeah.
In the southern states, you already know. The northern states, it's a little bit more hidden, but you can tell from people's comments and their personality where they stand. But in all honesty, I don't care about your personality. I don't care where you stand. I care about how you do the job. Right. Everybody's got their own personal feelings. Everybody has some form of prejudice about something. We all do. But all of that's got to be put to the side when you get out that car. When we don't all get along, we ain't all best friends. We all come from different backgrounds. We all believe different things. Everybody on the department don't belong to the same political party. We don't always agree on everything. But when we get out that car, everything is supposed to be the same. It's supposed to be uniform, and there's a way to do the job. So I know that there in every department there's going to be somebody that's racial. There's going to be somebody that's prejudiced, whatever the case may be. I really don't care about your personal stuff. But when you get out that car, you're going to do the job, and you're going to do it right, especially in front of me. And that's how all of us are with each other. So the northern states, you got to really dig to find it. You got to really dig to
find it. Go with your question. Nick, go ahead. What's your question for Officer Malik?
My question is, after especially this incident, do you think, because I'm not sure I'm quite sure with the job that you have to go through not only the physical training, but you have to go through like psychological and everything else. My thing is, if the department knows that there's somebody that definitely has a prejudice, why still employ them? Because this is going to keep happening. What is there to like stop, like, especially when you know somebody is like racially, they're just gonna be, no matter what, I can't stand a nigga, and this is my time because I got authority. How can the department stop that? I mean, why employ these people that you know have this attitude?
Again, that goes back to the culture of the department. Nice plant behind you, by the way.
Thank you. That's all I'm you.
But again, it goes back to the culture of the department. If that's what they allow, that's what they're going to hire. It doesn't come down when you say that. Why do they keep them? They keep them because that's what they hired in the first place. They knew what they were getting. They fit right in. It's the culture of the department at that point. The guy who knelt down on him had what, 17, 18 complaints?
Yes.
For use of force against him, all racially motivated. That's the culture of the department if he's still there. That's what they're looking for. So when he was talking about white supremacy, well, there you go. That's white supremacy at its finest.
To me, then that means that if that's the culture of the department, then we're always going to be in this, we're always going to have a fight on our hands, always. So when is it ever going to end? It's not.
It ends when we stand up and start getting everybody. We talk, I mean, I might offend somebody here, and if I do, I'll apologize, and I'll apologize in advance. We do a lot of talking. We do a lot of talking, we do a lot of complaining, but we don't do enough doing. And go on, when somebody gets the time, look up Minneapolis and see how many Black people are on city council. Look and see how many Black people work for the city that have positions where they actually decide the governing of that city. How many police officers are on a department? How many of them are Black? If we take these positions, if we get involved, I mean, the system is the system, but we can also take part in the system. There's an amendment in place in our Constitution that gives us the right to be involved. Remember, when the Constitution was wrote, we were worth less than a horse.
Yeah.
We were worth less than a horse. They had to make an amendment for us to be able to be people. Does everybody know that? I hope everybody knows that. So
yes,
people have fought and died for us to have that right, but we don't use it. We don't use it enough. There should be more people on city council. There should be more Black people in the police department. The only way to change that culture is to add our culture to it. We choose not to do that. The more of us there are, the less they can do.
But you know what though? You know, let me say this. I don't think that it's not so much that we don't choose to do it, Brother Malik. I think a lot of people, especially young folks, they have lost faith in the system. Their faith in the voting and city councilmen, and it's unfortunate. It's definitely unfortunate. And then it goes back to the schoolhouse. They don't teach them about city congressmen and the voting process and stuff.
They don't. I agree.
So it's a deep rooted problem that we're dealing with, and I think education is the key. So right now we try to be like, okay, you need to go vote, you need to go do this, and then first thing I don't want to do that. Look at because of this and that. They got all these excuses because they don't understand how powerful their ballot really means. They don't understand it. They didn't give up on the system. So we have to, not us, because we can't do everything. I can't work on all fronts. I try to do so much. My wife be like, you need to go sit down. You're doing this over here. You're doing that. You need to go sit down. You got too much. We need to have people in place to deal with going into these schools, teaching the kids about the judicial system, how to vote, how city council work, how the laws work. We have to do that. We have to do that. And we have to assign people to do that. And as far as us, our people, we have to play our lane.
I do
stay in our lane. We have to stay in our lane. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I do a program. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
I do a program at the schools because I also work at one of the high schools as a school resource officer. I work at East High School. Okay. I do a program with the government classes called The Power of Words, where we take the Bill of Rights and we put it into real life situations using a traffic stop. In the process, we go through an actual traffic stop. I give them a scenario where they have to write a police report according to the traffic stop that we do outside the school. I actually take my cruiser, line it up in behind the teacher's car, and then the kids play the part of the driver and the passengers. and there's some type of arrest, either a drug arrest or a gun arrest, and all of the kids standing there have to write down everything that happened to write a report. And we go through the entire process step by step, from the arrest all the way down to actually a trial, just to teach them how it really works in real life. But in the process, I'm also teaching them how the officer is supposed to conduct himself at a traffic stop. The questions he's allowed to ask, and the things according to your rights that we're allowed to do and not allowed to do according to the situation. Because most people really don't know.
No.
Most people really don't know. So by the end of it, of course, out of everybody, you're going to get like 25, 30% who are actually listening, normal kids. But by the end of it, you get up, the kids come up and they go, well, I know a lot more than what I knew before. And they become interested in learning more about government. And that's the beginning. Like you said, if they don't know, if they're not taught, then we're doomed to we're doomed to repeat the same process over and over again.
I'm glad.
It's sad.
So,
Yeah, and you know what, you weren't here earlier. Hold on one second, Troy. You weren't on the panel earlier, but Miguel actually brought up a valid point. Why do we even have to teach? He's youth mentor. Let me introduce you. Youth mentor out of Cleveland. This is Officer Malik with YPD. One of YPD's finest up in here. Tell me.
My man.
Why is it that we even have to teach them? And he brought that up earlier. He said, you know, we shouldn't even have to pretty much do a mock drive-through. You know, talk about a mock drive-through. A mock, like you were saying, a mock drive or an arrest, or teach them how to answer questions or how to respond to a police officer instead of just saying, hey, how you doing, and just be pulled over. You know what I mean? Instead of, there's a way to respond to a police officer in order to go home alive. So,
well, it's unfortunate, but unfortunate as Black men, the first thing we teach our sons when they get old enough to get into a car on their own is how to deal with the police. It's unfortunate, but we do. I remember sitting down when I started teaching my son how to drive, my oldest, the first thing I taught him wasn't how to parallel park. It was how to deal with a traffic stop.
That's good.
But isn't that sad?
Because it's coming. It is, but it's sad, but it's reality.
Okay, I got somebody else. I have someone else on the line that I want to add to this panel, which his name is James Moss, and he is the president of the Police Officers for Equal Rights. He's coming on now. So get your questions together, and then we're gonna go. Hello, Mr. James Moss, and he was an officer in Columbus, Ohio. Can you guys hear him okay?
Yes, I was a police sergeant, and for about 24 years, I was involved in a federal lawsuit that sued our police department for discrimination, and won that lawsuit. I'm still the president of the organization, but now I have just retired. I live in the Atlanta area. But listening to your conversation this morning, one thing I want to bring to everybody's attention that the culture of police in America, some Black officers have bought into that system. Some Black officers are worse than white officers. I've seen it with my own eyes when I was on the Columbus Police Department. So also, there is a law, a federal law, U.S. Code 42, that states if a police officer commits a crime under the color of law and another police officer does that crime and fails to act, he is also guilty of that crime. So we need to look at that, especially in the incident we just saw with Mr. Floyd, where the other police officers, they witnessed and they failed to stop a crime. But I think the whole culture of policing in America must be changed. And we cannot continue this way of policing in America.
Okay, any of you guys?
I got a question.
Yeah.
I got a
Go ahead.
question for you. And it's kind of, any of you guys can answer, brother Malik as well, because I want to go back to something that Malik had said, for us and for your listeners as well. And I have it's a two-part question, right? Because Malik was like, because he never really answered the question, like, what should a citizen do? Because he said that police shouldn't put citizens in that position where they have to choose if they have to physically try to get involved in a situation. But we know that this happens all the time. We've seen it time in and time out. So that question of what should a citizen do if they're put in that situation is still my question. But my second question is, Malik, when we know that there's issues and we know that we have a bad seed in our department, right? Out of all the files that I've pulled with complaints on officers, none of the complaints that I've ever got on any of the officers in Euclid was by another officer. And I want to know, why is it that no officers who see these bad apples in their district, in their institution, and they don't never write a complaint, or a complaint doesn't exist from an officer that's in that precinct?
Well, you got to understand the culture. For instance, the first day that I was working by myself on the street, me and some other officers, we arrested this guy who was drunk and was gambling. I took him to the slating desk. This white guy behind the slating desk had a old chair leg, and I was trying to keep my prisoner standing up while I was searching his pocket, taking his stuff out of his pocket, taking his belt off. That white officer took that chair leg and swung it to hit this drunk in the head. I blocked it with my forearm. I snatched him over the counter and pushed his arm and made him drop the stick. And he said, "Don't you ever put your hands on me." I said, "If you ever attempt to hit my prisoner, I'm going to kick your butt. That's what's going to happen." So the major and captain, everybody come out. They put in my file, and I wrote a report what that white officer did. They put in my personnel file that I was a radical and should be watched because I do not adapt to policing. So, we have to have black officers to stand up and do stuff like that. Now, if I was in a situation in Minneapolis, now, you probably wouldn't be talking to me now because I probably would have been put by the police. Because I couldn't stand there the way of my experience and stuff and watch another black person or any other person die like that, okay? And I know that they were killing him. So I'm not advocating that someone to get involved. I'm saying my personal, I would get involved, and I have been involved, and that's why they shot up my office. My office was in the black area. They did a lot of things to me. One officer put a gun to my head in a call. They did a lot of things to me, but I didn't quit speaking out and doing things, and we were successful for getting the Columbus Police Department investigated by the Justice Department. So I think the black officers, I worked in the black community. I got my hair cut there. Everybody knew me. And at night, the guys in the neighborhood, they would protect my office and make sure nothing would happen to me a lot of times. So because I was part of the community. Community policing in America is a joke because community policing is when black citizens tell the police, look, it's okay for Joe to stay on the town corner and drink a 40-ounce, okay? We're not upset about that. What we're upset with Bill, who's running a crack house and selling crack. We want you to do that. This is what white people do every day. They tell the police how to enforce. You go to Ohio State University on game time, and I worked up there. You got white people snorting cocaine, they drinking, they urinating in public, they doing all type of stuff. And no arrest is made because they dictate, they tell the police how they want to be policed. And tell the black folks, we get that type of power. This is where we want our community to police. We don't want no jaywalking tickets. Let's go. Okay, to jaywalk from a small residential street. You know, we don't want that type of enforcement. And this is what's wrong with American policing, is that the police dictate the black community how they're going to police. We have no voice in the way the police interact with our community.
Okay, and that is from a retired sergeant who has been and still is currently the president of the Police Officers for Equal Rights. And the Officer Malik, who I have on the panel as well, he is one of the officers who's in the community, get his hair cut in the community, and the community backs him. Now, when you said that you as an officer had a gun pulled up to your head, put to your head from a fellow officer.
Well, what happened was that I was retired, and a friend of mine had a house, and I managed that house because she was out of state, and I was painting that house. Well, there was a crack house next door.
Okay.
I reported to the police that they were selling crack out of that house. Well, the drug guy said that I was breaking into that house. The house had a burglar alarm system on it. The alarm system was not going off. I was on a ladder painting the shutters. The police came. I got down from the ladder, and he said, "Who are you?" I said, I'm James Moss. He said, "Well, what are you doing?" I said, "What do you look like I'm doing? I'm painting the shutters." They said, "You have some ID." I said, "It's in my car." They said, "Oh, we got to report this house is being broken into." I said, "Do I look like a burglar?" He said, "Come with me." There was 4 of them. And when I walked toward a cruiser, he said, "Where's your ID?" I said, "I told you my ID's in my car." So they handcuffed me. Before they handcuffed me, I was in the house, and the one police officer cocked his gun before he put it to my head and said, "Don't move." And I was cooperating all the time. So when they found out who I was, when they did the check, they said, "Why didn't you tell us who you were?" I said, "I told you I was, James Moss." So what happened was, I went on my lawyer, we did a press conference about 30 minutes after that, was all on TV, and I got all those officers' names, and I said, I'm going to put their pictures and who they are in the black community, for you know who these officers are. Well, the president of the union said, "Oh, you can't do that." The city attorney said, "Yes, Mr. Moss can do that." So these are things that I did. I did put their pictures up, and also I put where they live, their addresses where they live. I said, "If you know where I live, we should know where you live."
That's how I feel.
These are types of things, these are things that we must do, to let them know they cannot do this. Of course, I made a complaint. The complaint was ruled unfounded by a black chief, and let's be for real, the black chief of Minneapolis never came to the press conference when it first started off. So a lot of these black chiefs may be black, but they don't have our interests in their heart, okay? Even my black chief in Columbus, former Chief Jackson, he filed 22 charges on me, trying to get me fired because he felt I was too radical in things that I was doing. He didn't like. He wanted to buy into the white system. He wanted to keep the police culture going. And we have a lot of black chiefs in the country who bought into the system and want, be part of that police culture. Like when you cut them, they tell you they don't bleed red, they bleed blue. We all in this together, which is crazy. We must protect our community and our people and stand up for our rights and do what is right at all times.
Okay, did you want to ask the question, Miguel?
You know what? Man, he said he hit it on the nail, man. And it's unfortunately our people that look just like us. They have bought into this whole blue shield thing, and I believe the change must come from within the police department. It has to come within the police department. I believe that these black officers, even the good white officers, or all good officers, when they see this corruption and these bad actors doing these things out here with the public and stopping people, harassing them, beating them up, they have to stand up. They have to stand up. It's not about we all in this together. I tell people there's no loyalty when it comes to abuse. There's no loyalty when it comes to abuse. I don't care what type of system you're in. When you see abuse and corruption, you have to stand up. But unfortunately, like my brother said, they have all bought into it. They have all bought into it. And you know, for instance, right here in Cleveland, Ohio, the day that when Tamir Rice got killed, for instance, that shook the community. It shook us. Then you had the 130-some shots up in East Cleveland with the brother and sister. That shook us. No one was held accountable to that. And when I talked to a lot of police officers, they told me, well, that's just the nature of it. That's just the nature of policing. You know, when one cop show up, you know, and it may get out of hand, and it's like a riot. They just feed into it, and it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be like that. Someone in the police department, in these police departments, these so-called good cops, and I believe it's a lot of good cops. I got friends as good cops, but they will have to bring the change and say, listen, not in this department, because you're making it bad for not just yourself in the department, but for all of us. The stigma that's being placed on police officers, good police officers, especially black police officers, like I was telling Malik, it's a shame that you go out here and you got to be ridiculed because you got on a badge and a uniform that represents peace. It shouldn't be like that. So the stigma have to change, but I have to start inside the police department with accountability. If I see you doing something, I'm go tell. Period. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. I like the fact that you said these actors. Yeah, some people are acting like police officers. They're in uniform, which Officer Malik actually said. Just because they have on a uniform don't mean that they are right police officer or a good police officer. So I like that. I like that. Some of the actors, yeah, they put on a costume and it's like, oh, okay, this is what I need to do.
Yeah.
Malik, did you want to say, respond?
I wanted to answer his question about what people should do.
Answer Troy's question earlier.
Yeah. You can call. If it were me, I would call 911 because it's a taped line. So they can always go back and get it. It doesn't go away. They keep it. It's basically there forever. And explain to them exactly what you're saying, what's going on. Give them your name. Tell them who you are. Tell them where you're at, because it's already on the board where they're at. So you can tell them what you're seeing. And look, we need a supervisor here. We need somebody higher than these guys here to help deal with this. And then at that point, you can actually go down to the police department and file your own complaint and put because we're required by law to give you our name and badge number.
Okay.
We're required by law to give you our name and badge number. Mm-hmm. So you can gather the names and badge numbers and add that to what you've already done through the 911 center.
Now, what if it's a traffic stop and they ask you your name and you say, okay, and what's yours? And they refuse to give it to you. Because some officers get upset and be like,
well, at that point, you can ask for a supervisor. You can always ask for a supervisor, but my advice to you, it better be a good reason for it, not just because. If they're refusing to identify, the first thing we're supposed to do.
What's a good reason? Because we don't know. It's like, I'm just getting pulled over.
The first thing we're supposed to do when we walk up on that car or call you back, because most people don't know, I don't have to walk up to the car. Most of the time we just choose to. I can actually call you back to my car. I don't have to walk up on that car if I don't want to. I can actually have you come back, but most of us walk up to the car. The first thing I'm supposed to do when I get there is identify myself and what department I work for and why I pulled you over. Those are supposed to be the first three things I do. Hello, my name is Officer Mostella. I work for the Youngstown Police Department. I pulled you over because, or I can ask you, do you know why I pulled you over?
Yeah, like I got. No, I ain't on my back tail light. I'm driving.
And so I'm going to explain to you. If you say no, then I'll explain it to you. Or I'm going to tell you up front why I pulled you over. Those are the first three things we are supposed to do. Flat out.
Now, what if you are outnumbered, meaning being the Black police officer, you are outnumbered in your own jurisdiction, and you might have a complaint at a meeting, and like you said, that you guys have meetings where you have issues where, just like with Sergeant Moss said. You know, some, you know, they turn on you. The one wrote him up when he had a complaint that he kept getting written up, you know, from the chief, but probably outnumbered, who knows? But what if you are you outnumbered as a Black man in your police department?
As far as what the numbers, how many people there
How
are?
many Black people we got?
Oh Lord, they outnumber us 2-1, easy.
Okay.
Easy.
Okay. So
But that really, in all honesty, I don't think about that as far as working anymore. I've been there too long for that.
okay.
I care that there should be more of us. There should be more Black people applying it. We should have more Black police officers on our police department. But I kind of walked through the door with the attitude when I got hired that I don't care how many of you it is, I'm going to do the job. It doesn't make a difference to me.
Could I interject?
Sure.
Most police stops in America is not done that way. I know what Brother Malik has said. Police officers come up, stop a Black person. When I see your driver license and registration, and you ask why I'm being stopped, first thing they're going to say, let me see your driver. They're not going to answer that. Majority stops white police officers and Black police officers. They did not follow that. The Malik may have done it, I may have done it, but 90% of police officers don't do that. Then they go to their car, they write their ticket, then they come up and they give you a ticket. And you're surprised why you're getting that ticket. Okay? Let's be for real. That's the way it's done most of the time. And that's where the confrontation begins. And when I was with the National Black Police Association, we did a workshop. I did a workshop. Matter of fact, I did a workshop in Minneapolis, Milwaukee, Phoenix, all over the United States. And one of the workshops we do is what to do when you're stopped by the police. It tells the citizens what their rights are when the police come stop you on the street. But in America, stops not done that way. And usually you look at the traffic stop of a Black person, the first thing you do is the white police officer, some Black police officer, they have snapped their holster, they have the one hand on their gun, the other officer is on the other side of the traffic stop, he has his hand on his gun, so the whole stop becomes a very intense, and like you said earlier, anxiety of a Black person getting stopped. Why do you have your gun on your holster? And most stops, when you stop a white person, they are very relaxed. They don't have their hand on their holster. They do not treat Black and white stops the same. They do not do that at all. I've seen it, and I know that that's not the way it's done, And I have been, I was stopped here in Georgia by a white state trooper. Just like you said, ma'am, I didn't know that my license light was not on. The trooper said, I said, well, I got out and I hit the light that came back on. And I said, currently I have a short. He said, currently do. So he said, I'm going to just write you a warning. He said, that should get you home because I was far away from home. I got stopped 3 times. And I had to tell the officers to show them that warning, and I did the same thing. So this is nothing but racial profiling, because I was a Black man driving to in Georgia and a white redneck county, Confederate flags, and I shouldn't have been there. So these are type of things that happens all the time. What needs to be happening is that more Black police officers that's on active duty need to speak out and do something. And one thing I disagree is that when I was running my local office in Columbus, citizens do not go down to file a complaint. Type your complaint up. Make sure you have everything in that complaint and hand it to them, because most police departments, if you got a 1 or 2 page complaint, they put down 3 words and they may say you don't have a complaint. It's not an issue with our procedure. But if you have a record that you have your complaint, you address it to the chief of police, you hand carry it down there, then you also certify it to the chief of police. You have two records, and you keep a record of for yourself. That is how we was able to bring in the federal, the Justice Department to file a dissent order on our police department. That's how we did it. We kept records of all that, and I hand carried all the complaints to the Department of Justice. I made over 8 trips there, and I sit down and talk to them. We had over 2,000 complaints. That's how we was able to get change, because I did video interviews of each complaint. I sit down and talk to them, and I videotape all the complaints. So we had a backup. This is what I carried to Department of Justice. So these are types of proactive things you can do as a black police officer on your police department. Advise them, you go down there, and majority of the time they say, you don't have a complaint, and then you may tell them that this guy slapped you. They may even put on the complaint. So you have the complaint already written, file it, send a certified one to the chief of police, and that way we have accountability and record that you did do that. They can say, well, you didn't say that on this complaint. That's why I wrote it that way. No, you write your complaint. And it should be black police officers in your community, like when I was in Columbus, to help you sit down and type your complaint and do it that way. That's what black officers can do. When a black citizen have a complaint, that black officer should help that citizen write that complaint. Don't go down there and try to talk your complaint to a white police officer who don't care about your complaint.
Okay, go ahead, Miguel.
Okay. Real quick, because I gotta go. They're having an assembly downtown Cleveland here at the Free Stamp. So if I can, real quick, it's a great conversation, and we definitely need to continue this conversation. But if I can, I would like to get everybody's contact information real quick. If we can go around real quick, Mel, if that's okay.
1 second, because I'm doing the show live. I'll make sure to keep everybody's information. I'll make sure.
Got you. Okay.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, President of Police Officers for Equal Rights. We are coming to the end of the show. This is it, and we went over a little bit. Retired Sergeant James Moss, I appreciate your input and coming in on the tail end. We had some technical difficulties, but we got you there, and I appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am, for coming on this show. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye. Thanks. All right. I just need you to go around. Miguel, I know you have to go, so you start. You'll start first. Give some words of encouragement for our youth in America.
Yeah, and this is what I would say. Listen, we need you. You are the future. We need you. If there's going to be a change in the future coming up, and with the laws and stuff like that, we need you. We need you to educate yourself on how the system works, as far as the legislative system, the city councilman. We need you. We need you to stay in school. We need you to stay focused. You know what I'm saying? Because you are the future. There's going to be a change, and this old thinking, this old white supremacy thinking, it has to die off. So we need you to be that change, and don't think you are by yourself, because it's going to be always some like-minded people that God is going to send into your path that'll help you along the journey. So you can make a difference. You will make a difference, but you got to educate yourself on how this whole systems work, as far as voting and just a whole judicial system. Educate yourself.
All right, educate yourselves. What's your contact information for the listening audience?
My contact information, I'm gonna give you my phone number. The phone number will be area code 702. I'm in Cleveland, but I used to live in Vegas. Area code 702-843-9829. You can also reach me on Facebook at Miguel, Miguel Damon, Damen. My last name Booker, Booker. You can reach me on Facebook there.
All right, thank you much. All right, Troy, encouraging words for our youth.
I just want them to know that we as parents, with Generation X, we're paving a foundation for you guys, and we're taking the brunt of it. We're taking the bumps and bruises for you. And my suggestion to you is don't take what we're doing for granted, because it has to continue. And you guys, it's going to be your generation that could ultimately end up changing laws that were created, like the Graham versus Connor ruling, or the Tennessee versus Garner ruling, that has basically put our people at a disadvantage when it comes to law enforcement. Those laws, we have to educate ourselves on, know about them, and we have to push for change and take those laws back to the Supreme Court and hopefully have them overturned. But until then, there's a brighter day. Of justice is a long universal line, but it bends in the direction of truth and justice.
All right, there's a brighter day. That's Troy Harris out of Cleveland. Contact information if they need you, Mr. Analyst.
So if you want to contact me, again, I'm an activist in Cleveland. I'm also part of the Euclid NAACP. You can always reach me at 216-224-7097. And again, that's 216-224-7097. I'm also on Facebook under Troy Harris as well.
Okay, thank you much. I appreciate you. Kim Ham, the go-to girl. Encouraging words for the youth.
My words are for the families of the youth as well as the youths. There are those out there who are willing to teach you how to make the future different. Reach out. There are people out there who are willing to show you how to take action. Reach out. This show has taken away the excuse of you don't know what to do. You don't know where to go to. You go to this show, listen to this episode. There has been much to learn about what to do. There's been much to learn about who we are and how we deal with law enforcement. So this is the time where we step up and take in the knowledge. We can no longer say we don't know.
All right, and give us your contact information.
I am Kim Ham.
Oh, wait, let me finish.
Uh-oh.
Let me do it right. Let me do it right. You heard her. She said, you take this knowledge. You heard her right now. You can no longer say, I don't know what to do. All right, Kim Ham, what's your contact information?
I am Kim Ham, the go-to girl, the voice for those who are hurting from anxiety or circumstantial depression. You can reach me at 330-720-3456, or you can find me at kimhamthegotogirl.com.
All right, and the go-to, two is T-O, right?
T-O, yes.
All right, life coach right here. And you can catch her on Shop Talk with Mel because she is one of the co-hosts, thebomb.com.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm also on Facebook too, Kim Hamilton.
All right, Kim Hamilton, you heard her. If you have any other questions or if you want to know where she is or any of our panel today, I'll get Joselyn's information to you, Miguel, and to you, Troy, as well, okay? And so you'll get that I'll text it or email you. I do have you guys' email address, okay? So you can talk to her because she had to go. All right, Officer Malik, encouraging words for the youth in America. I can't hear you. Wait, did it come yet?
There it is. The word can't be a part of it, cannot be a part of your vocabulary. You have to push forward. Make your dreams and your goals a reality. Don't let anything stop you from becoming the person that you want to be. Nothing and no one should stand in the way of you achieving your dreams. And there are people out there who will help you get there. Don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it.
All right, you heard them. Do not be afraid to ask for help when you actually need it. And actually, not even when you actually need it, just ask for help. You know what I mean? Ask for help. When you don't know, just ask. There's no bad question, no stupid question. So always ask. All right, Nicole, any encouraging words for the youth?
Yeah, for one, learn to pick your battles, because youth nowadays, they pick the wrong battles. And when they pick the wrong battles, they end up in a bad situation. And for two, we need you to pay attention, like you said, ask questions, pay attention. You are our future. And if you want change, then we need more of us running this country the right way.
Oh.
Take an interest in politics, take an interest in your government, and do what you have to do, because change is the change is only going to come from us, and that's all the way around. So we have to be able to, because sometimes we could be our own worst enemy, so we have to be able to turn that around. Change is only going to come from us, and we have to learn what to do. So youth, please get interested in politics and government. Step up, because the more of us running things the way they're supposed to be, then we can hopefully see a change in what's going on.
All righty, thank you much. So here we go. She pretty much piggybacked off of you, Miguel. Let me get her information though really fast, because I didn't get her information. Let's see, did we get it yet? You have to unmute, Nicole. Okay, that was Nicole. She pretty much piggybacked off of Miguel. And if you want change, be the change, change the narrative. Hers was change. What's your contact information, Nicole?
My number is 330-402-2594.
One more time, Clark. One more time. Slow it down.
330-402-2594. And on Facebook, I am Nicole Keller Grace. And I also have another page, just Nicole Grace.
Okay. Thank you very much. She works with the community all the time. That's why I had her represent the community. If you have questions on how to deal with the community, contact Nicole. Change, change, change. I love you guys for coming on the show. Y'all don't know. I truly, truly appreciate it. And let me go to Malik's and get his, and then we can ride on out. All right? Did we get you? Malik.
I'm here. Yeah.
I know you did the closing remarks. Is there anything else that you want to add as a Black police officer for over 20 years?
That we are out here, we are standing up, we are speaking up, and we are continuing to do our job to protect our community.
Okay, and I'm gonna add to yours. Look, and I'm gonna add to yours. We are trained to be the same, but we are not the same. Okay, all right. Find you, embrace you. Most importantly, always, always love you. Until next week, people. Shut up.